Everyone today. And I am so grateful to be here. Yes, CSL Greater Pittsburgh is my first spiritual home in this teaching, and it certainly has a special place in my heart. I see wonderful old friends and new friends and friendly faces, and so I'm so grateful that all of you are here today. Thank you so much for being here and having me here today. And as Linda said, yes, just last week, this is fresh. Became a licensed minister with CSL Greater Pittsburgh. So this is my, or the week before, August 21st. This is my first lesson. As a minister, so I'm glad to be giving that to you today. And I do want to thank the Joyce for her meditation and Kathy for the choices of music. They're so beautiful and so perfect. And they, beautifully reinforce what I'm going to be talking about today, which is the divine flow. The divine flow. And there are a couple of things that inspired me to choose this. And first of them was an experience on vacation. Last month in July, we went down to Siesta Key, Florida, there on the Gulf Coast. Oh, it was so beautiful. So Rick and I and my sister and Rosalie brought her best friend. So we had a nice group, and it was beautiful. And I think the second day we were there, my sister was looking at different options of things to do, and she said, "Oh, here's Siesta Key Water Sports." And they have evening cruises where you can see the sunset and the dolphins. And I thought, oh, that sounds really nice. And she said they have parasailing. And Rosie and her friend, oh, let's do that. And I said, oh, mm, no, no, no. I felt that no, that resistance. No, 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 no. I'm not interested. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Oh, it'll be so much fun. So yeah, I thought, I'm going to face my fear, if you will, and do something new. So yeah, I said yes, we'll do it. So we went out in the boat, and there were other families there, and there was a little boy, 6-year-old boy there with his parents, and I thought, well, oh, that boosted my confidence with the little boy there with his parents. And so and the girls went first, and I, thought that parasailing, see, I didn't have a clear understanding about it. Literally thought you crash landed in the water just as you're coming in from a no, see, I didn't fully understand. So they were skilled people on the boat and getting us way up into the sky. So I went up with my sister. Do you know, we got up there. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And I was really, taken with the quiet. It was so quiet, and this idea of flow, seeing life out there and everything, the flow of the water, feeling the flow of the wind. We saw a sea turtle swimming. We were way up there. But I was really moved by that, that again, that flow. And I thought, this is always happening. Even when I'm back home in Pittsburgh, that this water, this flow, and of course, water life is flowing everywhere. But it was a beautiful reminder of that. We came in for a gentle landing. He asked ahead of time, do you want to dip your toes in the water? Okay, well, we'll just dip our toes in the water. So we dipped our toes in the water, and he brought us in, and it was really a wonderful experience. And I was grateful for the joy of it and doing that, and for the inspiration from it. And then in coming home, and getting ready for the final steps in ministerial training or oral panels, I was going through some things and organizing some things in my office, and I came across a handout from Summer Seminar 2014. Remember, we used to do summer seminars at CSL Greater Pittsburgh? And this is from 2014, and it was called Let It Flow. And that was my handout from the seminar. And it includes 27 quotations from Ernest Holmes about flow. I'm not going to be sharing all those quotations with you today, but a couple of them or a few of them. But I thought, and I read through that, and I was so, again, inspired. And, combining that with my experience on vacation, I thought, there's some things that are standing out here for me, with a new appreciation. Again, that flow, that divine flow is always happening, even when we aren't aware of it, everywhere. through everything. The little sea turtle, everything, everything, everywhere. And looking at the quotations, the passages from Holmes, remembering that we affect that flow. It's always there, but we affect that, whether expanding it through us or restricting it through us. We do through our beliefs, our thoughts, our ideas, our expressions. We affect that. And so I'm working with this idea, knowing this, and remembering that it affects the flow, the divine flow, all the aspects of our being, the mental, the spiritual, and the physical. And it affects those expressions of the qualities of God that we affirm: life and love and light, power, peace, beauty, and joy. Oh my goodness, we affect that. And when we do open up and allow it more fully than ever, it enriches the fulfillment that we feel, the vitality that we feel, the abundance. And it's not only, I have new awareness of this, it's not only this divine flow and our practice of opening to it, um, our individual experience, but also the collective experience. You know, when life shines greater through us, we are contributing to the expression of God, universal spirit, through all of us in the world, or shining in the world. We are part of that. And so I have, again, this new and deeper appreciation of flow. And I'm going to look at some of these ideas here in the talk. And one of the quotations from Holmes that was in my handout from that summer seminar, Holmes said, "Today I seek the divine pattern at the center of my own being. Affirming its reality, I permit its essence to flow through me, claiming it as my very own. I embrace it, and believing in its beauty, I sense its harmony. Accepting its peace, I am calm. Living in its love, I am unified with life. And believing in its power with childlike faith, I accept its action in my everyday affairs." Ooh, that's rich, isn't it? The whole idea, the divine pattern, that that one, that one in us, that one divine pattern, and opening to that and affirming its reality is a permitting, allowing, the whole idea of allowing, claiming it and believing it, all these affirmative words, accepting its peace, living its love. That is all part of that divine flow, which is the expression of the one through us. Affirming, claiming, believing, knowing that beautiful pattern that is always there, and opening to the flow of that truth through us. And that one quote alone gives us a lot to think about and to remember, again, always there, always ready to flow in new and greater ways. And to ask ourselves, think and reflect as we do our spiritual practices, even as we go throughout our day. Am I welcoming it? That flow through me. Am I supporting that in my beliefs and my activities? Again, when it flows through even greater, we feel that vitality and that fulfillment of that livingness of life. And again, and I'll talk more about this in a minute, our physical body as well, not only our mental and spiritual. Um, and Another quotation that I want to share from him: "The divine spirit is flowing through me in an individual way." Here again, an individual way. And I accept the genius of my own being. Since the original artist is doing something new through me today, I do not imitate others. Each is a king in their own right. Each is a divine being on the pathway of eternal unfoldment. All the presence there is flowing through me in an original manner, and I invite the inspiration, the illumination, and the guidance of God, and gladly cooperate with them. Again, there's a lot in there. And that idea, that real appreciation, that is part of that allowing of the divine flow through us, is really appreciating our beautiful uniqueness, the genius of our own being, and allowing that uniqueness to express, speaking our voice and being who we are. That is part of the beauty of the divine flow, appreciating who we are, speaking and being, and not hesitating again to be who we are. It's so beautiful here with Joyce, speaking the meditation. It's Joyce, that uniqueness and that idea that she was inspired with the roses, and seeing that God, infinite intelligence in everything, and really allowing that to flow through us. And again, cooperating with it. I like that. Sometimes we feel an urge or hear something within. That's why I love that quotation, the voice of spirit that is always speaking, and that listening to that. I don't know, and you've heard me speak of this book before, and I'm sure many of you have read it, 7,000 Ways to Listen by Mark Nepo. It's a truly beautiful book about listening and really about opening to the divine flow and that richness of that when we allow that. And sometimes if we may feel frustrated or not fulfilled, these are ideas to look at. And what am I thinking or feeling that may be, or resisting, that might be holding that back? And I'm going to speak more about resistance in just a moment, because that's related to restricting the divine flow. And what happens when we restrict that? When we push back ideas, when we put up barriers with maybe old ideas, and it not only blocks our spiritual growth and our expression, but their physical blockage as well. Perhaps in digestion or in our hips or our legs, that holding back or the resisting. A friend of mine is experiencing hip problems and has been told that she may need a hip replacement. And so we were talking together, and she was open to these ideas. And I said that, excuse me here. I'm sorry, I just got a note on my computer. I thought it was plugged in and it wasn't. So I have to take 10 seconds because you.
Yeah, but the rest of us will all go blind. Yeah, I
haven't read the one she's talking about.
I haven't read one of
those other ones.
See, that just gave me another idea to bring in here. Plugged in for that full flow through us. Yes. It's a question we can ask ourselves during the day. Am I really plugged in? I mean, we always are, but am I really connecting and allowing that flow, whether it's electricity in this situation or wisdom, love, peace? So thank you for your patience with that. I had plugged in the wrong plug. And so here we are. We're back to this. I was talking about resistance and how that can lead to blockage, in oh my goodness, when we block emotions. And talking to my friend, and she said, I had been thinking about retiring, and I was really resisting that. I was resisting and not allowing the idea of a new experience to come forth. And she realized, oh my goodness, that blocking of that possibility and opening to a new experience. And everybody moves through these experiences of life differently, but she was grateful for that awareness and how it affects our physical body. And I want to share something in relation to resistance. And this is from this month's Science of Mind magazine. And as you know, we have the daily affirmations. And some months, most months, it's one person in particular, a practitioner or a minister writing them. And this month, Each day is a different minister. And this is from Thursday, August 29th. This is Reverend Michelle Medrano, who is a co-minister at the Mile High Church out in Denver, one of the largest churches in our teaching. I know Will has been there and appreciates the beauty and the wonder of Mile High Church. So Reverend Michelle said, some of the most significant things in my life have been preceded by intense resistance. And when the idea of becoming a minister first dawned in my awareness, she said, it was immediately followed by huge resistance. My thoughts flowed with all sorts of reasons why that was not going to happen and why that was the worst idea I ever had. Then a few years later, I finally moved past the resistance and came into surrender about becoming a minister. The relief I felt was tremendous. It was a tension that had been in me for years as I fought what was my right path. And since then, there have been many other moments where my resistance flared. What I have come to see is that my resistance can be a sign to pay attention at the very least. It's often what I feel as some big inner call is beckoning me. And this awareness has come a deep respect and gratitude for my feelings of resistance. And that's a wonderful expression, a real life, I'll say, experience. And what resistance, that blocks us. What are we resisting? It's a question that we can ask ourselves. On another day, a couple of days before that, Reverend Dr. Sharon Hudson shared this wonderful idea from Ernest Holmes. And this is from a Holmes Reader on Meaning. Now, that isn't a publication that we often hear about. There are really, I have heard dozens of publications by Holmes with all kinds of gems of wisdom in them. And this particular one says, life flows into everything, through everything. It passes into every human event and translates itself through every human act. If you learn to think of life as flowing through your every action, you will soon discover that the things you give your attention to are quickened with new energy. And it's that energy, that recognition of this, that listening and feeling. Joyce in her meditation invited us to feel when we look and notice life around us, to appreciate it with all of our senses. That is the flow of life through us. And lots of things going on in our teaching and in the world that bring up opportunities to practice this and open up to new ideas and different ways of doing things. And you may have heard the profound news that was just announced that the Holmes Institute is closing as of January 2025. This is part of the ministerial training. It's been operating since 1996. It is a decision of massive importance. And so the School of Spiritual Leadership, which is another arm of ministerial training, is still operating. That's a huge change. And so a lot has come up from that. And the grief and resistance to something new, but to still remember to open up to new ways of spiritual education in our teaching and know that something new, something even greater can come forth, and keep practicing. Right there is an opportunity, whether the Holmes Institute, which is I went through the Holmes Institute, something that we have done or ever thought of doing, it's still part of our teaching. And it's an opportunity for all of us to know the evolution of spiritual education in our teaching, that there are new and wonderful possibilities. And then in our world, so many things going on, conflict and all kinds of things. And peace is calling. Peace is calling, that urge of spirit to open up to that divine, open up fully, more fully than ever to peace. And in our in CSL each month there are monthly themes, and this month is Pieces of Peace. Sometimes we feel that the world is in pieces, but to remember and practice that oneness. And I'm so glad that we've already brought that up here today. And there are new ways that they're sharing with us, lots of tools that they're providing for raising the vibration of peace in our lives in the world. even when we love the idea of peace, there are so many ways to practice it, allowing that divine flow through us as we are each a prayer for peace. And to think about that throughout our day. Oh, when I'm feeling right now, and think, oh, does this align with my desire to be a prayer for peace to shine through me in greater ways, through our intentions, through our spiritual practices. And so a lot of opportunities for us. And, I saw that in the newsletter that you have a book study coming up with the new book, Freedom from Discord. I saw that in there. I've got my copy right here. And it's a wonderful book. And it opens us up to think about our teaching, to think about ourselves individually and collectively as this prayer for peace, a new way of thinking about being who we are. So that divine flow, that urge, again, is always flowing through everything. And the idea is that we are ever evolving, and there are new ways for it and greater ways for it to flow through us. So a couple more things here. Another one of the quotations from that handout from Holmes: through the spiritual practice of meditation, we're able to unite consciously with our infinite source, and so allow the cosmic stream of good to flow to us and through us in an unobstructed channel. Oh, that's beautiful. And I'm grateful for the meditation that Joyce led today. And that idea of meditation and that connecting and the power of that. And that studies have been done. Here's a really great book, How God Changes Your Brain. Or now it's called How Enlightenment Changes Your Brain. We took a course in neuroscience as part of our ministerial training, and they found, and the brain, of course, is physical, but it's a reflection of what is happening behind it, if you will. When meditation is practiced occasionally, the benefits are not observed, but when it is practiced every day, for 12 minutes or more, the difference that it makes. And so that's the divine flow through us, the cosmic stream, that raising the vibration. And then Holmes says, I accept the abundant good that flows easily and freely to me. And in return, I am loving and generous to all others, knowing that we are joined in spirit. My whole mind is open to the divine influx of joy, love, wisdom, and guidance. My life prospers. That divine influx, that's a wonderful idea. Think about that divine influx flowing, and also in return, it's not only flowing to us, but through us, and thinking about being that shining expression of spirit, of God that we are, joy, love, wisdom, and allowing that to flow out into the world. Again, it raises the vibration through us, around us, and out into the world. And so as we know this and practice this openness, this allowing of this cosmic stream, I love that, the cosmic stream of good to us and through us and back out into the world every day, we raise ourselves up. Spirit shines brighter, and the pulse of life beats stronger. The vibration in the world is raised up. It is a key time for this. It's always an important time, always a good time, but we have lots of encouragement now to practice this, to know this, and to be this, and to know that we are, each of us, a wonderful, unique, individualized expression of God, and we each do make a difference by opening to this flow. And I want to finish by pointing out this picture behind me. I'm going to move over here. I know you can just get a hint of it. But what it is this is called the School of Athens. And it's one of my favorite pieces of art. And it is a beautiful piece from the High Renaissance done by Raphael. He painted it at only 27 years old. And it's actually not a painting, it's a fresco on the wall, or what is known as the Stanza della Signatura, which is part of the papal palace. He was commissioned by the Pope. Again, he was only 27 years old. It took him 3 years to paint this. And it is one of 4 frescoes in this area. And he was painting this at the time that Michelangelo was painting on the Sistine Chapel. And it is an astounding, a collection of, a work of astounding detail. And it brings together art and science and philosophy. Right there in the middle are Plato and Aristotle. And surrounding are other philosophers and mathematicians. There's Pythagoras is in there, and Euclid and Ptolemy, an astronomer. Zoroaster, you've heard of Zoroastrianism. Zoroaster is in there. Diogenes, Heraclitus, a Greek philosopher. Oh, and when I look at this, I think of all of these amazing people. I'm sorry about the doggy in the background here. All of these amazing people that opened up to that flow, that wondered and questioned and explored and opened up to these questions, and not only making a difference in their own lives, but still here we are thousands of years later. And we don't need to be Plato or Aristotle, who were astounding in their brilliance, but that reminds me of the difference that each of us makes in our thinking, in our expression, in our practice. And there's always more evolution. We are always evolving and always growing. And so this beautiful work of art inspires me, and I aspire to see it in real life, if you will, one day, to get over there and to see that and to stand there. I think it's 7 feet by 10 feet. It's quite large. Again, it's one of 4 frescoes that he painted as a brilliant young artist in Italy. That's Raphael. And so some ideas to work with, and I bless each of you as an individualized expression of God, and the divine flows always moving through each of you in beautiful ways. And so it is.